For many years, humanity has been searching for extraterrestrial life. Despite extensive efforts, we have yet to discover it, and this search may continue for centuries. However, with the vast number of galaxies and planets in our universe, the existence of intelligent life seems inevitable. Many of these civilizations are likely older than humanity and far more advanced, possibly possessing technological abilities beyond our comprehension. UFOs have often been linked to the possibility of extraterrestrial life, though this remains an unproven theory. If such beings exist, making contact would be both thrilling and potentially dangerous. In this exploration, we will venture beyond our solar system, our galaxy, and into the broader universe in search of intelligent extraterrestrial civilizations. Along the way, we will explore other universes and alternative realities, uncovering the advanced technologies these civilizations might have developed. We will also examine their possible physical characteristics and the claims of researchers regarding recovered extraterrestrial spacecraft. Additionally, we will highlight some of the most compelling UFO sightings that demonstrate extraordinary capabilities. There are no simple explanations for these unidentified flying objects. Since the 1940s, reports of UFOs have increased, starting with the infamous Roswell incident. The US government initially claimed it was a weather balloon crash, but many researchers believe it was the crash of an alien spacecraft. Interest in UFOs has only grown since then. Between 2% and 5% of these cases remain unresolved, with some displaying disturbing features. Some UFOs exhibit movement that defies our understanding of physics. They travel at extraordinary speeds, make sharp turns, and accelerate or decelerate rapidly, all without any visible means of propulsion. Military pilots often report seeing these objects in controlled airspace, raising concerns about national security. Some UFOs also appear to move effortlessly between air and water, suggesting highly advanced technology. In addition, videos of encounters between UFOs and US Navy pilots have been published, showing speeds and maneuvers far beyond the capabilities of modern aircraft. These videos, leaked in 2017 and confirmed by the Pentagon in 2020, include Gimbal, filmed in 2015 off the US East Coast, Go Fast, also from 2015, and FLIR, from 2004, near San Diego. In these videos, objects are seen moving at incredible speeds, performing unexpected maneuvers, and sometimes behaving in ways that are not typical of conventional aerial vehicles. The extraterrestrial hypothesis suggests that UFOs may be spacecraft operated by intelligent beings from other worlds. Some speculate that these beings could be from planets within our galaxy, such as Proxima Centauri or Alpha Centauri, due to their proximity to Earth. Exoplanets in the habitable zone of their stars are of particular interest. These extraterrestrial ships might employ anti-gravity propulsion technologies, enabling the impressive maneuvers observed. They could also use warp drives for faster-than-light travel. If these civilizations have reached our world, they are likely much older, having had sufficient time to develop such advanced technology. Even if they are only twice as old as humanity, this would have profound implications. They could be studying Earth and its inhabitants, scouting our planet for its resources, or perhaps attempting to make indirect contact with humans. An even more fascinating theory is the cryptoterrestrial hypothesis, which proposes that UFOs originate from a civilization that has secretly coexisted with humans for centuries. These beings would have developed advanced technologies, but have chosen to remain hidden from the rest of humanity for various reasons. Cryptoterrestrials are sometimes described as humanoids, but taller and slimmer than humans. Their technology may allow them to manipulate space, time, and human perception, including the use of cloaking devices, anti-gravity ships, and mind control. They may live in underground cities or bases beneath the ocean, and some suggest that volcanoes may be involved, with UFOs entering or leaving volcanic craters like those of Popocatépetl in Mexico. Some believe these beings use volcanoes as dimensional portals or energy sources, or to travel to subterranean cities. Additionally, unidentified submersible objects, seen emerging and submerging in the ocean, may be connected to this hypothesis, demonstrating capabilities beyond current human technology. These could be cryptoterrestrials adapted to underwater environments, or extraterrestrial beings with ships capable of moving seamlessly between air and water. If UFOs are neither extraterrestrial nor cryptoterrestrial, the interdimensional hypothesis may provide an alternative explanation. This theory suggests that UFOs are phenomena from other dimensions, capable of shifting between parallel realities. Some reports describe interdimensional beings as humanoid forms of energy, with no clear physical structure, and these beings may originate from parallel universes with different laws of physics. This hypothesis is closely linked to the idea of time travel, proposing that UFOs and their occupants are humans from the future, traveling back in time to observe or interact with their past. In the distant future, humanity is expected to have developed highly advanced technologies that could make time travel possible. The physical similarities observed in some UFO encounters might suggest that these beings are humans from the future. If this theory holds true, it would open up a world of complex questions, possibilities, and paradoxes in physics. A more earthly explanation is the military hypothesis, which suggests that many UFO sightings are actually tests of advanced technologies developed by various nations. Military forces, especially during wartime, allocate significant resources to research and development. To maintain a strategic advantage and protect national security, many of these technological developments are kept classified. Throughout history, some of these military advancements have been mistaken for unexplained phenomena. There are several advanced aircraft models that, to an untrained eye, could appear to be extraterrestrial vehicles. The B-21 Raider, for example, lacks a tail and traditional aircraft structures. Similarly, the B-2 Spirit is a stealth bomber designed to penetrate enemy air defenses undetected, with a design that reduces aerodynamic drag. The F-117 Nighthawk, built to be extremely difficult to detect by radar, uses angular shapes to deflect radar waves instead of reflecting them. The Fermi paradox raises a critical question. If extraterrestrial life is highly probable, why haven't we found any definitive proof or made contact with them? The Milky Way, our galaxy, contains an estimated 100 to 400 billion stars, and if only 1% of these stars have planets capable of supporting life, there would be billions of potentially habitable planets just in our galaxy. With billions of galaxies in the universe, each containing billions of habitable planets, the likelihood of extraterrestrial civilizations existing seems high. Furthermore, the Drake equation suggests that advanced technological extraterrestrial civilizations are likely to exist. However, life on Earth emerged only about 4 billion years ago, while the universe is around 13.8 billion years old, leaving ample time for other civilizations to evolve. So why haven't we found them, or why haven't they contacted us? This is the central dilemma of the Fermi paradox, which highlights the contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial civilizations and the lack of evidence of their existence. Several explanations have been proposed, some more unsettling than others. One possibility is that the signals from other civilizations are simply too weak for our technology to detect. They may be using forms of communication that we don't understand or can't detect. The vast distances between stars also explains the lack of contact. For instance, Proxima Centauri, the closest star to our solar system, is over 4 light years away. Even traveling at the speed of light, it would take over 4 years to reach it. With current technology, a manned mission to Proxima Centauri would take thousands of years. Another theory suggests that extraterrestrial civilizations may be observing us without wishing to interfere. This is known as the zoo or galactic national park hypothesis, which posits that advanced civilizations are quietly observing humanity, much like how we observe animals in a wildlife reserve without disturbing them. They may view our solar system or the Milky Way as a kind of natural reserve, where they allow life to evolve without interference. Perhaps they believe humanity is not yet ready for contact with higher beings, and by keeping their distance, they protect us from potential disruptions caused by advanced technologies. An additional possibility is that civilizations in the cosmos have relatively short lifespans on a universal scale, which could mean that many are already extinct. Asteroids, for instance, have the potential to cause the destruction of entire civilizations. 65 million years ago, an asteroid impact contributed to the extinction of the dinosaurs, paving the way for mammals to thrive. Similar events could have wiped out other civilizations on distant planets, leaving only ruins as evidence of their existence. Consider a planet in a distant galaxy, Zara, where a civilization known as the Zorans flourished for thousands of years. They mastered advanced technologies and harnessed much of the power of their star, though they had not yet colonized other planets. They built magnificent cities and monuments, demonstrating a deep understanding of the cosmos. But about 20 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck Zara, causing widespread destruction. It triggered fires, massive tsunamis, and a climate-changing impact that blocked sunlight for decades. Despite their advanced technology, the Sauron civilization couldn't recover, and over time, their society collapsed, and they eventually went extinct. After millions of years, new intelligent species arose on Zara, discovering the remnants of the Zoran civilization, but unable to understand them. While asteroids are one cause of cosmic destruction, even more catastrophic events exist. A supernova, the explosive death of a massive star, releases enormous amounts of energy and radiation. These events occur every 50 years in galaxies like the Milky Way, and if an intelligent civilization lives on a planet near a star about to go supernova, they would face devastating consequences. A supernova would destroy the planet's ozone layer, increasing radiation that could cause genetic mutations and heat the atmosphere to extreme levels. If the supernova is close enough, it could wipe out the planet entirely. Another potential disaster for a civilization is galactic collisions. The Milky Way has experienced several minor collisions, and in about 4 billion years, it is expected to collide with the Andromeda Galaxy. Although the probability of direct collisions between stars is low due to the vast distances between them, the interaction between galaxies can cause star formation to spike, leading to dangerous radiation from young massive stars. If a planet is near such a region, it could face a significant increase in radiation. A wandering black hole could also pose a threat to extraterrestrial civilizations. Black holes, which reside at the centers of galaxies, can move through space, absorbing everything in their path, including stars, planets, and asteroids. If a wandering black hole passes through a star system with life, it could alter the orbits of planets, potentially pulling them into the black hole's grasp. If such a rare event were to occur in our solar system, it would have catastrophic consequences. As the black hole enters the solar system, it could begin to consume planets. The likelihood of it absorbing one depends on its trajectory and speed. The approach of Neptune towards the black hole would be an awe-inspiring yet terrifying event. As it nears the black hole, tidal forces would distort its structure. These forces would overcome the gravitational forces keeping the planet intact, causing it to break apart. This phenomenon, known as spaghettification, occurs when objects are stretched into long, thin shapes. Neptune would appear to elongate into a stream of material before disintegrating into small pieces. If the black hole travels at around 500 kilometers per second, 310 miles per second, it would take about 99 days to reach Mars. For a supermassive black hole, the process of absorbing a planet like Mars would take 1 to 2 days. At this speed, it would take 5 days to reach Earth. Once it reaches the event horizon, any planets and their inhabitants would be disintegrated into tiny particles. Inside, the final destination is the singularity, a point of infinite density where the laws of physics no longer apply. In the hypothetical scenario where an advanced civilization existed on a planet affected by this, their only chance of survival would be to escape before the black hole's arrival. A more likely event in the universe's history is the occurrence of an extreme solar flare. Astronomical studies have shown that these intense flares are more common in red dwarf stars. Planets that are relatively close to these stars would be more exposed to solar radiation and flares. In extreme cases, a solar flare could annihilate life on a planet within 24 hours. Such a flare would need to be far more powerful than the typical flares seen in active red dwarfs. One of the first things to be destroyed would be the planet's ozone layer, which would be obliterated by intense ultraviolet radiation. The rapid heating of the atmosphere would essentially cook the planet's surface, igniting massive wildfires. Natural ecosystems would collapse quickly, leading to the extinction of many plant and animal species. Any civilization dependent on technology would find its infrastructure destroyed almost instantly by the electromagnetic pulses generated by the flare. The absence of extraterrestrial civilizations could be attributed to the devastation caused by such cosmic events. Another theory suggests that extraterrestrial life may indeed exist, but is deliberately hiding. Perhaps these civilizations have chosen not to make themselves known to avoid detection. They may be aware of the existence of advanced hostile civilizations, capable of colonizing other planets or even entire galaxies. This idea is known as the dark forest hypothesis, which posits that the universe is a perilous place, and revealing one's presence would attract aggressive or imperialistic civilizations. These advanced extraterrestrials may view emerging civilizations as threats. Such predatory civilizations may see expansion to other worlds, with resources as a means of increasing their chances of survival on a cosmic scale. In this scenario, silence and concealment become vital survival strategies. The basis for this theory lies in the precautionary principle. If one civilization is uncertain about the intentions of others, it would be wise to assume that contact could lead to annihilation. Therefore, to avoid discovery, it is best not to emit signals or build large space structures. A key aspect of this hypothesis is the idea of competition for resources. Although the universe may seem boundless, suitable places for advanced technological civilizations to develop could be scarce. This scarcity could drive civilizations to remain hidden in order to survive. If we accept that extraterrestrial civilizations are either watching us, hiding, or too distant, what level of technological advancement might they have? In 1964, Russian astrophysicist Nikolai Kardashev proposed a system to classify civilizations based on their energy use and technological development. A Type 1 civilization uses all the available resources on its home planet, harnessing solar, geothermal, and other forms of energy. When humanity reaches this stage, it will have the power to alter its environment, control weather patterns, and even influence earthquakes. According to the Kardashev scale, humanity is currently at about 0.7, as we have not yet fully utilized Earth's energy. A Type 2 civilization would have mastered interplanetary travel and be able to harness the energy of its star. It could manipulate the dynamics of planets and celestial bodies within its star system. A Type 3 civilization would control the energy of an entire galaxy, including phenomena like black holes. Beyond this, some speculate about the existence of Type 4 civilizations, which would have the ability to harness the energy of the entire observable universe, including dark energy. A Type 4 civilization could create simulations indistinguishable from reality, generating entire universes and consciousnesses. A Type 5 civilization would have technology to manipulate dimensions, enabling them to travel between different universes and utilize their resources. They would be capable of manipulating time, speeding it up, slowing it down, stopping it, or reversing it. The most advanced civilization, a Type 6 or omniversal civilization, would control energy and matter at the most fundamental levels. These beings could create or destroy universes and alter the laws of physics at will. They might exist as intangible consciousnesses, transcending biology and interact with lower civilizations in inaccessible dimensions, guiding or observing them. Theoretically, the universe hosts thousands of civilizations at various stages of development, and we may not have detected them yet. The question is, how should we look for them? One approach is to focus on detecting radio or light signals from alien technologies. The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, SETI, uses large radio telescopes to scan the sky for unusual signals, but there are other astronomical phenomena that could indicate the presence of advanced civilizations. For example, a Dyson sphere, a megastructure built around a star to harness its energy, would be an obvious sign of an advanced civilization. It might consist of solar panels or other technology, and from a distance it could appear as a cloud of particles surrounding the star. However, distinguishing a Dyson sphere from other space phenomena requires highly advanced technology. A Type 2 civilization might build a colossal ship like the McHenry cylinder, a rotating cylindrical habitat designed to support millions of inhabitants. It would be made of strong, lightweight materials like carbon nanotubes to withstand its size and rotation. Mirrors would reflect sunlight, maintaining a day and night cycle, while energy shields would protect the ship from external threats. Some moons in our solar system, such as Europa, moon of Jupiter, may harbor microbial or extremophilic life beneath their icy surfaces. Titan, moon of Saturn, has a dense atmosphere rich in nitrogen, with lakes and rivers of methane and ethane. Speculation suggests that such moons, or others in distant galaxies, could be crucial for the development of intelligent life. The presence of a moon like Earth's could be essential for stabilizing a planet's climate and allowing life to evolve. This raises the question, could moons be necessary for life to develop on other planets in the universe? We could search for exoplanet moons or extraterrestrial complexes that orbit them. Advanced civilizations may have constructed mining stations on moons to extract resources such as water, metals, and minerals. These stations could be large orbital platforms with fleets of ships transporting materials between the station and the moon's surface. If the civilization that built them became extinct, we might detect remnants of these space stations orbiting their moons. Depending on their size and composition, they could appear as bright spots in the sky, or in images captured by telescopes. If an expansionist extraterrestrial civilization exists, it's possible they have the technology to establish habitable locations within their own galaxy or nearby ones. They could construct massive floating cities on planets or moons, with atmospheres more suitable for living than the planet's surface. Many moons and planets in the Milky Way may have thick atmospheres that shield against cosmic radiation, though the surface temperature could be too extreme for habitation. However, at higher altitudes, tens of kilometers or miles above the surface, the temperatures could be much more favorable for life. In these dense atmospheres, an advanced civilization might be able to construct a floating city supported by massive air balloons, potentially filled with light gases like helium or hydrogen. These cities could drift with the wind, allowing them to follow or escape the sun, ensuring a natural day-night cycle. This would allow the city to explore vast areas of a planet or moon without the need for additional vehicles. A more sophisticated megastructure could be a planetary orbit reconfigurer. This immense structure would allow a civilization to modify planetary orbits, optimizing habitability, avoiding catastrophic collisions, or reorganizing the solar system based on energy needs. The structure would consist of a series of orbital stations equipped with thermonuclear fusion engines, similar to those in the cores of stars. These engines would use antimatter as fuel to generate substantial energy, producing powerful pulses capable of altering orbital trajectories. We know that advanced civilizations might build a Dyson sphere to harness a star's energy. Black holes, although known for absorbing energy, also emit radiation known as Hawking radiation, which results from quantum effects near their event horizon. Some black holes also have accretion disks composed of gas, cosmic dust, plasma, and other molecules. These disks form when stars are torn apart by the black hole's gravity. The material in the disk heats up and creates electromagnetic radiation, which spreads into space. A Type 3 civilization could use the energy from the accretion disk, building a colossal structure like a ring to withstand extreme temperatures and radiation. This structure would be located at a safe distance where the radiation is intense but manageable with advanced technology, and it would convert the electromagnetic radiation into usable energy. If a civilization survives for millions of years, they could take even greater advantage of black holes. As material in the accretion disk accelerates to near light speeds due to magnetic and gravitational forces, it launches energetic particles into space in a stellar jet. This cosmic ray could travel millions of light years. A Type 3 civilization could place ships in its path, using the force of the jet to propel them to relativistic speeds, enabling interstellar or even intergalactic travel. If such a jet hit an inhabited planet, it would be catastrophic. Lethal radiation, atmospheric destruction, and extreme temperature rises could melt the surface or evaporate oceans. Although black holes are well known, wormholes are still theoretical. According to Einstein's general theory of relativity, wormholes are physically possible, though they haven't been observed. They are tunnels in the fabric of space-time connecting distant parts of the universe. A Type 3 civilization could potentially create and maintain a network of stable wormholes, allowing instant travel between star systems, galaxies, or even different universes. A natural wormhole would collapse quickly, but a civilization could stabilize it with rings made of exotic matter to keep it open. These stargates would make long-distance travel feasible, although they would be hard to detect from another galaxy. Such advanced civilizations could also build vast space fortresses. Imagine a massive spaceship with a self-sustaining ecosystem, a galactic nature reserve. This ark could travel between galaxies to preserve species endangered by cosmic events or natural disasters. It would be a modular structure, divided into sections replicating different planetary environments, with transparent capsules housing rescued extraterrestrial species. Another way to detect extraterrestrial life might be by observing changes in space-time caused by massive spacecraft. For such a ship to noticeably bend space-time, its mass would need to be extraordinarily high, comparable to the mass of the Sun or greater. This kind of ship would act as a gravitational lens, bending the light of distant stars and galaxies, creating observable anomalies in astronomical images. Another possibility would be ships traveling at near-light speeds, which could cause distortions in space-time that would be detectable by gravitational wave detectors like laser interferometers. When searching for extraterrestrial life, a more feasible approach might be to look for planets within the habitable zone of stars. Planets that are positioned at just the right distance to support liquid water are considered potentially habitable. It's likely that these exoplanets could harbor a wide range of life, from basic organisms to civilizations far more advanced than humanity. It's also conceivable that artifacts from extinct civilizations could be found on the surfaces of planets or even orbiting them. The idea of locating traces of vanished civilizations extends beyond other stars, potentially including our own solar system. Interstellar or intergalactic objects that have drifted through space for millennia might be drawn to the sun's gravity. These objects could include ships, remnants of them, or parts of megastructures from extraterrestrial civilizations long gone. Observing these objects with current telescopes could be possible, and if their existence were confirmed, it would trigger a scientific revolution. The likelihood of an exoplanet harboring intelligent extraterrestrial life depends on several factors, including the presence of water and its distance from its star. However, some exoplanets are considered especially promising. Super-Earths, which are rocky planets larger and more massive than Earth, are prime candidates when located in their star's habitable zone. Their larger size allows for a thicker atmosphere that shields the surface from radiation, supporting chemistry conducive to life. If these planets are geologically active and stable, they could support life for millions or even billions of years, increasing the chances for intelligent life to evolve. Other good candidates are Earth-like planets in the habitable zone, which are similar in size and composition to Earth, providing conditions suitable for life, such as liquid water and an oxygen-rich atmosphere. Finally, ocean planets, which are entirely covered by deep oceans of liquid water, could also be viable. These planets could sustain complex life forms in their stable aquatic environments, and intelligent life could evolve in the oceans or on the shores of emerging islands. Consider a race of intelligent extraterrestrials evolving on such an exoplanet. Let's imagine a planet called Aqualus, covered entirely by vast oceans with no land masses. The inhabitants, known as Aqualians, have elongated, dolphin-like bodies, optimized for high-speed swimming. Their skin is soft, but protected by a layer of biopolymer, shielding them from the immense pressure at great ocean depths. Instead of limbs, they have flexible fins that extend from their bodies. Their large eyes, akin to squid eyes, allow them to see in the dark waters. They communicate using bioluminescent light emitted from their bodies and breathe through gills, efficiently filtering oxygen from the water. They live in enormous underwater cities, and all their technology is based on marine biology. They cultivate organisms that generate light energy and build their homes from genetically modified corals. Have aliens already visited Earth? While we have assumed that extraterrestrials have never reached our planet, there are speculative theories suggesting they may have. Some believe that certain ancient works of art depict beings from the stars. The ancient astronaut theory posits that the Nazca lines in Peru were landing strips for extraterrestrial craft. According to this theory, these beings shared knowledge with humanity, and the giant figures created by humans were messages to them after they left. Other researchers suggest that the lines were connected to astronomical events, or perhaps linked to water or fertility rituals. Similarly, the geoglyphs of Palpa are thought to be part of astronomical calendars or represent mythical beings. On January 8, 1981, Renato Nicolai, a 55-year-old farmer in southern France, reported seeing a rapidly descending flying object. He described it as a gray saucer that landed on his property, then took off and disappeared into the sky, leaving 2 large sunken marks on the ground. Upon analysis, the soil was found to be compressed and heated to high temperatures. Meanwhile, in the UK, crop circles have sparked debates. While some have been proven to be hoaxes, others remain unexplained, leading some to speculate that they may be created by UFOs. One of the most startling UFO incidents occurred in Zimbabwe in 1994 at the Ariel School, where 62 children between 6 and 12 years old observed 2 bright objects descending from the sky. According to their separate testimonies, small humanoid beings, about 1 meter tall, emerged from the objects. These beings were described as having large black eyes and gray skin. Some researchers believe this was a genuine extraterrestrial encounter, while others argue it could have been mass hysteria. Bob Lazar, a self-proclaimed former contractor at a facility known as S4, made several bold claims. In 2019, he stated that he had seen spacecraft of unknown origin, allegedly recovered from ancient archaeological sites. These ships were described as being thousands or even millions of years old, containing technology far more advanced than what humans have developed. Lazar detailed a propulsion system based on gravity manipulation. If such spacecraft were found at archaeological sites, it would suggest that Earth had been visited by extraterrestrial civilizations in prehistoric times. This discovery would prompt historians to evaluate many aspects of human history, including the origins of certain cultures, technologies, and mythologies. It's also possible that these ships are not of extraterrestrial origin, but rather from advanced civilizations that existed on Earth long before recorded history. Some cultures have myths of advanced lost civilizations, such as Atlantis, which could be distorted memories of these ancient societies. This would imply that many so-called myths are based on historical events, and that these civilizations may have been wiped out by global catastrophes like asteroids or nuclear wars. Such a theory suggests that human-like species may have achieved high technological advancements before being reset by a cataclysmic event, possibly resulting in a cyclical pattern of technological and social evolution. It may also be that survivors of these ancient civilizations passed down their knowledge, influencing the development of future cultures. What would extraterrestrials look like? We've examined the technologies of advanced alien civilizations, but what about their physical forms and their worlds? The idea of humanoid aliens has been a staple in science fiction, but could it be possible? According to the theory of convergent evolution, it is plausible under certain conditions. This phenomenon occurs when unrelated organisms develop similar traits, such as the comparable body shapes of sharks and dolphins, despite being different species. Thus, similar life forms could evolve on exoplanets with conditions like those on Earth. One such possibility is the existence of superhabitable worlds, which have even better conditions for life than Earth. These planets orbit orange dwarf stars, which have lifespans much longer than our Sun. Such planets would provide more time for civilizations to develop. To be super habitable, a planet would need to be older than Earth, offering life more time to evolve. It would also need to be larger and have a greater mass than Earth to support more biodiversity. The planet would likely have a global ocean covering most of its surface, with scattered continents and archipelagos. Its climate would be warm and humid, with less variation than Earth's. Vegetation would be denser and more widespread. With billions of planets in the Milky Way, at least tens of millions of them could be super habitable, based on conservative estimates. If an extraterrestrial species had evolved on a super habitable planet, adapting similarly to humans, what would they look like? Let's imagine a super habitable world located hundreds of light years away from Earth, called Oceania. About 90% of its surface is covered by oceans, with 3 continents that are geographically and biologically distinct. Thanks to the ideal conditions for life, Oceania's tropical forests are far more biodiverse than Earth's. The massive trees form a thick canopy that blocks most sunlight. Millions of different species inhabit the planet. One of the non-intelligent species, Simiaflorens arboris, might have dense blue-green fur that glows in the dark. Its skin is water-resistant, allowing it to thrive in the humid jungle environment. With a rounded head and large mobile ears, it can detect sounds from far away. Its large eyes provide exceptional panoramic and night vision. In other regions of Oceania, towering mountains exceed 10,000 meters, 33,000 feet, and shallow seas provide ideal conditions for marine biodiversity. The species Hippocamperus lumini has iridescent blue scales that flash on and off to communicate. Its large mobile eyes allow it to have an expansive view of its surroundings. Oceania's atmosphere is rich in oxygen and water vapor, creating a warm and humid global climate. Gravity on this planet would likely be stronger than Earth's, which could result in intelligent humanoid species being shorter and stockier. Their skulls would need to be strong to protect the brain from impacts and stress caused by gravity. The brain might be large compared to the body, possibly indicating higher intelligence. The arms and legs would be shorter, built to support weight in this high-gravity environment. Given that the light from an orange dwarf star is less intense than our Sun's, the planet would be somewhat darker, so its inhabitants would have large eyes to gather more light. Respiratory systems would be adapted to breathe in this dense atmosphere, possibly even through their skin. Their skin could be brown or olive green, well suited for surviving the relatively constant but weaker ultraviolet radiation of their star. Now let's imagine a super habitable planet with lower gravity than Earth, called Levitas. This planet has a low density due to its scarce amount of heavy metals, and it also orbits an orange dwarf star. The atmosphere is rich in oxygen and argon, optimizing the breathing conditions for its inhabitants. Flying creatures on Levitas would have large light wings, designed to make use of the planet's lower gravity and air currents. They would be able to fly for extended periods without tiring. The vast oceans are shallow, supporting rich marine life, and the planet's mountains reach up to 15,000 meters, 49,000 feet. The trees in its jungles can grow up to 300 meters, 984 feet, and the forest floor is dotted with glowing plants. Levitas's humanoid species would generally be taller than humans, with slightly larger heads and larger brains. They would have large eyes adapted to gather more light in the dimmer environment. Their arms would be long, ending in thin, elongated fingers, while their legs would be slender and designed for walking in the planet's lower gravity. Their skin might be slightly elastic, with the ability to change color to blend with the environment. The risk of contact with extraterrestrials. Various efforts have been made to contact extraterrestrial civilizations, such as Active SETI and Meet-Eye International, which have sent messages to distant stars. However, some scientists argue that sending such messages, revealing Earth's location, should be a matter of international debate. They believe transmitting signals could violate the precautionary principle, as there is no evidence of hostile extraterrestrial civilizations. But if they existed and knew our location, the consequences could be disastrous. On the other hand, some scientists argue that not attempting contact could be risky, as the knowledge of advanced civilizations could help humanity avoid self-destructive tendencies. There are also those who believe that intergalactic civilizations would be peaceful. A key figure in this debate, Stephen Hawking, warned against reaching out to extraterrestrials, suggesting that doing so could attract dangerous civilizations to Earth. He compared potential contact to historical encounters between less advanced human civilizations and more advanced ones, where the less advanced were often harmed. Under this reasoning, a civilization discovering Earth could exploit its resources indifferent to human life. An extraterrestrial civilization, with hundreds or thousands of years of technological advancement, would likely possess powerful weapons. A civilization from a Type 3 civilization might view humanity as little more than a curiosity. They could have directed energy weapons capable of destroying key infrastructure, such as government buildings or military facilities, using lasers or plasma beams. Such weapons could vaporize entire cities, releasing energy equivalent to multiple nuclear bombs but without radiation. Additionally, this civilization might be able to manipulate environmental conditions to trigger natural disasters such as hurricanes, storms, earthquakes, or tsunamis in strategic areas. They could even design nanobots capable of breaking down steel, causing cities to collapse. These nanobots might be engineered to infiltrate human populations, causing illness and incapacitating entire societies without destroying the environment. Furthermore, they might be capable of creating strong gravitational fields, or micro black holes, which could destroy cities or infrastructure. However, the dangers are not limited to weapons. Even if extraterrestrial contact were peaceful, the introduction of alien viruses could pose a serious risk. These viruses might have completely different transmission methods from any known pathogens, potentially spreading through the air, water, or other means that earthly viruses do not. Without immunity to these new diseases, humans could be devastated by a pandemic of unimaginable scale. The importance of human expansion. Stephen Hawking believed that staying on Earth is too risky for the long-term survival of humanity. He warned that a mass extinction event is inevitable, whether through a super-intelligent AI becoming autonomous, nuclear warfare, or an asteroid impact. While the likelihood of a catastrophic event in the near future is low, the next 10,000 years might see such an event occur. Given that humans have existed for around 300,000 years, this doesn't seem like a long time. Hawking argued that humanity must expand to other moons or planets to increase our chances of survival. He pointed out that between 5 and 50 billion animal species have existed on Earth, but 99% of them have gone extinct. Therefore, expanding humanity's presence beyond Earth is crucial for long-term survival. Another factor to consider is the inevitable fate of our sun. While it's still millions of years away from expanding and likely swallowing the Earth, this event ensures that our planet won't remain habitable forever. Building spacecraft capable of transporting thousands of people to other planets is a complex yet necessary task. In the short term, establishing a colony on the moon is seen as more feasible. The initial structures will probably be prefabricated modules sent from Earth, equipped with basic life support systems. In the long run, by 2100, the colony could consist of multiple interconnected domes. Another option is creating underground habitats, built to shield inhabitants from the harsh surface environment. These would include an extensive network of lunar tunnels, utilizing ancient lava tubes or constructed using drilling technology. Colonizing Mars presents a much more ambitious goal. Mars is significantly farther away, with an average distance of 225 million kilometers, 140 million miles, and a one-way trip would take between 6 and 9 months. Before sending humans, robotic missions will play a vital role in laying the groundwork, such as constructing essential infrastructure like habitats and energy systems. The arrival of the first human on Martian soil will mark a delicate yet monumental milestone in space exploration. The primary goal will be to establish a permanent human base, which will expand and eventually become self-sustaining. The first human missions will be risky, and the possibility of a return is uncertain. Many space explorers may choose to remain on Mars instead of returning to Earth. In the long term, assuming initial colonies are successful, efforts will be made to expand these habitats into small towns. Space stations will operate with regular flights to and from the Moon or Earth. Once a fully self-sustaining Martian city is built, the slow process of terraforming may begin. This would involve modifying Mars' environment to make it more Earth-like, which would present significant technological and logistical challenges. Over centuries, with the gradual introduction of plants and other organisms, complex ecosystems could begin to evolve. If humanity persists, we may eventually develop the ability to leave the solar system. An antimatter-powered ship could travel at a fraction of the speed of light, reaching Alpha Centauri in just a few decades. Alternatively, starships could be built to sustain human generations during the journey, using nuclear propulsion for greater power than chemical rockets, which would allow a journey lasting about 1,300 years. Another option would be to send a small crew of explorers in cryosleep, a concept that would require significant advances in medical technology. A proposal for faster-than-light travel is the warp drive, which would distort space-time around the spacecraft. With this technology, remarkable phenomena could occur. As a ship approaches light speed, time on board would pass more slowly, relative to Earth due to time dilation. Upon returning to Earth, the travelers would have aged only a few decades, while thousands of years would have passed on Earth. Centuries or millennia from now, Humans might encounter extraterrestrial civilizations in their own solar systems. Space diplomacy would become crucial, with protocols in place for interacting with advanced civilizations. By then, humanity might have evolved into a Type 3 civilization, capable of controlling the Milky Way. It's possible that evolution would push humans toward greater pacifism, though it's also conceivable that they could adopt an aggressive stance and engage in interstellar wars with other civilizations. As humanity expands, colonies will likely become more self-sufficient over time. Isolated cities, developed over millennia, would gradually lose their connection to Earth and evolve independently due to differing environmental conditions. Earth would no longer be the center of human civilization and would be more vulnerable. At some point, a mass extinction event may occur. While humans could become extinct on Earth, they may continue to thrive in other parts of the universe. Human descendants living on other planets or moons might have the ability to return to Earth. Modern buildings in cities like New York or Dubai, built from steel and concrete, are prone to corrosion and decay. In contrast, ancient structures like the pyramids of Egypt, made from limestone and granite, are more durable and have already stood for millennia. If future humans lose their connection to Earth, they may mistakenly believe these ancient structures were built by an extinct extraterrestrial civilization, without a clear historical understanding. They may mythologize or misinterpret the true history of Earth. The risk of being a trapped civilization. Within the vast Milky Way, there could be civilizations that reach a certain level of technological advancement but are unable to progress further. Technological development might stall due to a lack of innovation, extreme regulation, or the complexity of remaining scientific mysteries. Internal conflicts or poor governance could lead to social crises or wars. At the same time, civilizations would be developing unevenly, with varying levels of technological progress. Those that achieve interstellar travel and colonization first would have the power to control large portions of the cosmos, establishing barriers to the growth of other civilizations. A civilization confined to its home star system would be restricted from accessing critical resources from other planets or asteroids, stalling its progress. Civilizations that control multiple star systems could exercise a kind of cosmic imperialism, dictating how less advanced civilizations should operate within their own boundaries. However, oppression from imperialist civilizations need not be a permanent state. Less developed civilizations would seek alliances with neighboring civilizations to confront more advanced powers. Leadership, diplomacy, and alliances would be vital in negotiations between these civilizations. The evolutionary future of humans. If future humans colonize other planets or moons, contact between different colonies is likely to be lost. The immense distances between stars and planetary systems would create high levels of isolation. The choices made by these human groups would guide the future evolution of the species. Variations in gravity would affect their physical appearance, and different atmospheric compositions would influence their respiratory and circulatory systems. Under natural evolution, it would take hundreds of thousands of years for noticeable biological changes. However, with advanced genetic modification technologies, this process could be sped up dramatically. If these human origin civilizations eventually meet, they may have forgotten their common ancestry. The loss of historical records might cause them to view each other as entirely extraterrestrial, potentially leading to distrust or hostility. Each colony would develop unique solutions to its environmental challenges, increasing differences between them. Genetic adaptations for surviving in harsh environments might be met with either suspicion or fascination. The development of distinct languages and dialects would further complicate any attempts to reunite. Did humans come from the stars? Life on Earth is believed to have appeared about 4 billion years ago, but the exact origin remains unclear. The theory of abiogenesis, or the primordial soup, suggests that life began in a mix of chemical compounds in Earth's early oceans. Another theory proposes that life began near deep-sea hydrothermal vents. A more controversial idea is panspermia, which suggests that life is widespread throughout the universe and could have arrived on Earth via asteroids or cosmic dust. The Martian meteorite Allen Hills 84001 has been identified, though not without controversy, as potentially carrying microfossils of extraterrestrial origin. A more speculative theory, directed panspermia, proposes that life on Earth was deliberately seeded by advanced extraterrestrial civilizations. These civilizations may have chosen Earth for its favorable conditions, or perhaps for other reasons we don't yet understand. Small automated spacecraft may have been sent to Earth to deposit microorganisms. These ships could also use advanced technologies to transmit genetic information. Some scientists have proposed that certain aspects of terrestrial biology align with this hypothesis. All life on Earth uses DNA or RNA as genetic material, which might suggest a common origin from an external source. Additionally, life on Earth seems to have emerged relatively quickly in geological terms, which some attribute to the targeted seeding. If directed panspermia were true, it would imply that we are not alone, or that intelligent life has existed before us. What would first contact with extraterrestrials look like? What if contact with an alien civilization finally happens? SETI has developed a protocol in case evidence of a civilization is detected. If a suspicious signal is found, it must be verified before being made public, and verification should involve collaboration with other researchers. If the signal is confirmed to originate from extraterrestrial intelligence, the scientific community would be notified. However, the response to the signal would not occur without the approval of an international body, like the United Nations. What if direct contact occurs? What if a highly advanced extraterrestrial civilization with thousands of years of technological advantage arrives on Earth? Many questions would immediately arise. Are they dangerous? How did they arrive? How do we communicate with them? An encounter with a Type 3 civilization would likely be incomprehensible to humans. It would be similar to a prehistoric human encountering a smartphone, unable to understand its function or how it works. Sharing knowledge with such an advanced civilization could revolutionize our understanding of physics, biology, and engineering. However, such an exchange would need to be carefully managed to prevent disrupting global power dynamics. If only one nation received advanced technology, it could spark global tensions. The societal impacts would be profound. The discovery of extraterrestrial life could unite humanity under a shared identity, though it could also lead to division depending on how governments and societies respond. Religions might be reinterpreted to account for the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial life. Communication with extraterrestrial beings would be conducted cautiously, with an emphasis on peace and understanding their intentions. The exchange would be gradual and monitored to avoid misunderstandings. If these beings were vastly more advanced technologically, biologically, and culturally, they would likely adjust their communication to ensure we could comprehend it. Mathematics and physics, with their universal principles, would likely be the most effective means of transmitting information. But what if the beings who contact us aren't extraterrestrials, but intelligent entities from other dimensions? The multiverse theory posits that our universe may not be the only one, but part of a vast array of parallel universes. If true, each universe could have different laws of physics. For example, gravity in another universe might be weaker, affecting the formation and evolution of galaxies, stars, and planets. The properties of elementary particles could differ across universes, resulting in different behaviors of matter and energy. Universes in the multiverse could vary in size, age, and even in the number of spatial and temporal dimensions they have. For instance, while our universe has 3 spatial dimensions and 1 temporal dimension, other universes may have more or fewer dimensions. This could lead to radically different living conditions. Direct evidence of the multiverse is difficult to obtain, as universes may be separated by vast distances, or even be unreachable due to differences in their dimensions or physical laws. String theory provides a potential explanation, suggesting that particles are tiny, vibrating strings, with different vibrational patterns leading to different physical laws. Furthermore, the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics proposes that all possible histories and futures exist in a large multiverse, where each decision or measurement leads to the creation of multiple parallel universes. In one universe, a meteorite wiped out the dinosaurs, allowing mammals and humans to dominate. In a parallel universe, the meteorite never hit Earth, and dinosaurs continued to reign. Within the framework of the multiverse concept, life forms very different from what we know could emerge. Should they be considered aliens, or would the correct term be interdimensional beings? Imagine a universe within the multiverse, such as one called Luminarian. In Luminarian, light affects everything: how creatures evolve and how technology functions. In our universe, it takes energy to produce light. But in Luminarian, atoms and molecules easily emit light. An intelligent civilization in such a world might have evolved to live in an environment where light is integral to their biology, technology, and culture. These beings might be tall, with elongated bodies to absorb light from their surroundings. Their luminous skin could change color to reflect their emotional state, intentions, or health. Their heads would likely be large, designed to house an advanced brain capable of processing vast amounts of visual and light-based information. They might communicate through light signals, absorbing energy directly from their environment, and using large, complex eyes capable of detecting a wide range of light frequencies. If these beings develop the technology to transcend physical barriers and communicate with other universes, they could potentially contact us. The implications of such an encounter would be far greater than meeting extraterrestrials. Would we be able to recognize them as beings from other dimensions? What consequences would this have for humanity and our understanding of the universe? The Roswell Incident, cover-up, or myth. The Roswell Incident is one of the most intriguing cases of alleged extraterrestrial contact with Earth. On July 3, 1947, a local rancher named William Mack Brazel found strange debris on his property after a thunderstorm. The remains piqued his curiosity, and he took them to Roswell, where he reported the find to the local sheriff. The sheriff then contacted the nearby Roswell military base, suspecting that the debris might be connected to military operations. On July 8th, the base's press officer, Lieutenant Walter Haut, issued a statement claiming that they had recovered a flying saucer. However, within hours, the military retracted the statement, explaining that the debris was from a weather balloon. Colonel William Blanchard, commander of the base, later held a press conference to display the wreckage. The sudden change in narrative raised suspicions. Why would a weather balloon be mistaken for a flying saucer? Over time, more details about the incident came to light, some contradictory to earlier reports. Several witnesses claimed to have seen small, strange-looking bodies among the wreckage, leading to theories that extraterrestrials had been recovered. One of the first testimonies came from Mack Brazel, who initially described the debris as materials he had never seen before. However, under pressure from the military, he later revised his statement, claiming it was just a weather balloon. Another key witness was Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer at the Roswell base, who was one of the first to handle the fragments. Marcel later stated that the material did not match anything he had ever seen before. In subsequent years, he maintained that the true nature of the debris had been covered up by the government, suggesting it came from an extraterrestrial spacecraft. Another key testimony comes from Glenn Dennis, a funeral home worker who claimed that the Roswell military base contacted him to provide small airtight coffins. Dennis stated that the military sought advice on how to preserve bodies that had been exposed to the elements. The idea of extraterrestrial beings traveling from distant stars only to crash on Earth may seem paradoxical. However, several theories have emerged to explain this apparent contradiction. Like humans, aliens would be vulnerable to technical errors or mechanical malfunctions in their ships. The long journey could have caused wear and tear, or the craft could have encountered an unexpected event, such as a thunderstorm. Additionally, extraterrestrials might be prone to operational failures, much like human errors in aviation. Another theory suggests that Earth's atmospheric, magnetic, or gravitational conditions might have been unforeseen by the aliens. Upon encountering these unfamiliar factors, the ship's systems could have failed because they were not designed for Earth's environment. Some theorists propose that the craft was shot down, either intentionally or unintentionally, by an Earth defense system. Another hypothesis suggests that the crash was staged by either extraterrestrials or humans as part of an experiment or a strategy to spread misinformation, intending to observe reactions or manipulate public perception. Area 51. What do we truly know about this secretive base? According to certain accounts, the remains of the aliens that crashed in Roswell were transferred to Area 51 for further study. It is speculated that the US government has conducted experiments on extraterrestrial spacecraft at this facility. Rumors about the base date back to the 1950s, when reports of UFO sightings near the base began to surface. These sightings are often attributed to experimental aircraft like the U-2 and A-12 Oxcart. However, the secrecy surrounding Area 51 has led many to believe something more extraordinary is happening. Bob Lazar's testimony in 1989, where he claimed to have worked on a top-secret project at S4 near Area 51, played a significant role in spreading these rumors. Lazar stated that the facility was attempting to reverse engineer recovered extraterrestrial spacecraft. He provided detailed descriptions of how these ships operated, claiming they used a form of anti-gravitational propulsion, and that element 115, discovered in 2004, served as their fuel source. For many, Lazar's revelations were the proof they needed to believe the US government had extraterrestrial technology. However, others view Lazar as a fabricator, or believe he was part of a disinformation campaign by the government. Alongside Lazar's testimony, various former employees and contractors of the base have anonymously claimed to have seen objects that couldn't be identified as any known human technology. Others argue that these theories about extraterrestrial spacecraft were spread to deflect attention from real secret military projects. It's possible that the government used UFO fascination as a cover to protect the development of advanced military technologies. Since its establishment in 1955, the existence of Area 51 was known to the public, but the US government never officially acknowledged it. In recent years, documents related to the base have been gradually declassified, and a pivotal moment came in 2013, when a set of documents confirmed Area 51's existence. These records stated that the base was chosen as a test site due to its remote location and dry climate, which were ideal for testing experimental aircraft. While this declassification represented a step toward transparency, it also reinforced that much of Area 51's operations remain classified. Operation Majestic 12. Was there a secret committee handling extraterrestrials? In 1984, documents surfaced that supposedly revealed the existence of a secret group called Majestic 12, created by President Harry Truman to manage extraterrestrial-related issues after the Roswell crash. According to these documents, Majestic 12 consisted of military officials and government personnel responsible for retrieving and analyzing alien spacecraft. The group supposedly managed information about extraterrestrials, including disinformation and media control strategies, and was tasked with establishing contact with extraterrestrial beings. Over the years, the authenticity of these documents has been questioned. Some argue that the technical and operational details in the documents would be hard to fabricate without access to classified information. Several government insiders have corroborated parts of the story, adding weight to the claim that the documents could be real. However, the lack of physical evidence and the presence of mistakes in the documents have led many to believe they were an elaborate hoax. Some researchers suggest these documents were part of a government disinformation campaign. Black projects. Advanced human technology or extraterrestrial reverse engineering. The Cold War prompted the emergence of black projects, top-secret programs, to develop advanced technologies and keep them hidden to ensure military superiority over the Soviet Union. Although the Cold War did not escalate into direct conflict, both the United States and the Soviet Union competed in an arms and technology race. The development of technologies such as intercontinental ballistic missiles, reconnaissance planes, and radar systems became essential. The need for secrecy around these projects led to the creation of black projects. One of the first was the U-2 spy plane, designed to fly at high altitudes and evade Soviet radar detection. As the Cold War continued, more ambitious projects emerged, including stealth technology that made aircraft invisible to radar. Over time, the culture of secrecy in the U.S. military-industrial complex solidified, and black projects became a standard method for developing technologies deemed critical to national security. After the Cold War, many of these projects continued, focused on emerging threats and maintaining U.S. technological superiority. Speculation about advanced propulsion technologies often ties them to the reverse engineering of extraterrestrial spacecraft, particularly those recovered in incidents like Roswell. However, skeptics argue that these technologies are the result of decades of research and are fully explainable within existing scientific principles. The Wilson documents. Evidence of a high-level cover-up? The Wilson documents are notes from a supposed 2002 conversation between Admiral Thomas Wilson and Dr. Eric Davis. These notes describe Wilson's attempts to access classified information regarding top-secret programs involving extraterrestrial technology. According to the conversation, Wilson was told about a special program designed to recover and study alien spacecraft. He tried to use his position to access this program, but encountered significant resistance. The documents suggest that a small secret group, isolated within the Pentagon, managed these programs. This group allegedly believed that the recovered ships were of extraterrestrial origin, and despite years of attempts, progress on reverse engineering, the technology was slow. Advocates for the authenticity of the Wilson documents argue that they provide crucial evidence that the U.S. government is trying to replicate extraterrestrial technology. Critics, however, question the legitimacy of the documents, emphasizing that extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. If the Wilson document is authentic, its implications would be staggering. It would suggest that a powerful group within the government and private industry has kept critical information about extraterrestrial technology concealed for years. This raises the possibility of a global cover-up. Have nations cooperated internationally to suppress the truth? Recent events hint that several countries have worked together to investigate the UFO phenomenon. These efforts would have been designed to examine these sightings, while hiding any evidence of extraterrestrial life. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union initiated a secret program called Project Setka, which aimed to study unidentified aerial phenomena. Initially, they suspected that UFOs were American spy planes, although they also investigated unexplained occurrences. After the Soviet Union collapsed, it is believed that Russia continued the project in collaboration with other countries, under different names, and with a more global focus. The intelligence alliance known as Five Eyes is another example of international cooperation in matters of security. The member nations share information on issues such as terrorism, cybersecurity, and global threats. Some suggest that this network may have also been used to exchange and conceal information about UFO sightings and extraterrestrial technology. Although it has not been officially confirmed, Rumors indicate that the UN may have established a task force dedicated to UFO investigations. The highly secretive nature of these initiatives suggests that their purpose is to prevent any significant discoveries from being made public. The declassification of UFO-related documents has strengthened theories of a worldwide cover-up of extraterrestrial encounters. A notable example is Project Blue Book, a US Air Force program that studied UFOs between 1952 and 1969. While much of the information was eventually released, there are indications that the most intriguing cases were kept hidden. The project concluded that most sightings were due to natural phenomena or human-made aircraft, though some cases remain unresolved. Declassified documents from the former Soviet Union and the UK Ministry of Defense also reveal a consistent pattern of cover-up. In both instances, governments investigated UFO sightings, but downplayed their significance to the public. In the UK, the X-Files, released in 2008, disclosed decades of UFO research, yet the government consistently denied that these objects posed a national security threat. Given this history, it is highly probable that secret or highly classified projects are currently underway in various countries. Some governments are investing in advanced scientific research with both civilian and military potential. Emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence and quantum computing, are often part of secret programs due to their capacity to shift the global balance of power. Surveillance satellites, too, are frequently involved in covert programs, as they provide critical intelligence on military activities and installations. Are governments more concerned about UFOs, or the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations that they may already be aware of? It's impossible to answer these questions definitively, but perhaps in the future new documents will be declassified that could surprise us. We may never know if we are truly alone. If intelligent extraterrestrial civilizations exist in other stars or galaxies, if they have already become extinct, or if they reside in other universes. One thing, however, is certain. Whether future contact or extinction without discovering other civilizations, both scenarios are equally unsettling.